Hooligan The Harridan podcast. I am the Hooligan.
And I'm the Harridan.
All right, so we're going to get to our question for the day.
Which was?
It was, well, this was kind of an offshoot from our last episode where we said the next one was going to be, we talked a little bit about that app Spicer that we use for, it's a couples app, like a relationship app, you know.
Yeah, to like spice things up.
Spice things up, Spicer.
It gives you like
ideas,
maybe ideas that you
questions.
wouldn't have thought of before or whatever. Mm-hmm. So
some shit is way out there. Some of you guys are weird.
We're gonna do a Facebook Live
episode
where we read them off, and you guys are gonna have to thumbs up, thumbs down, or like maybe
just chime in.
Chime in, because some of them are like,
we need to get like a good engagement on that. So we'll let people know like a good heads up, like a week heads up, and then like a couple of days ahead of time as well. Yeah, that'll be funny.
So I asked the question, what apps do you use in your daily life? Like, it doesn't have to be a relationship. It could just be anything.
Yeah, what apps do you use in your everyday life?
And I actually got a couple, excuse me, that I had not thought of or heard of that I started using, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I remember I got a couple that I was a little surprised. Not surprised, but I was like, oh, like I didn't think that person would use that specific app or that news outlet or something like that. So.
No one said anything like, I didn't get any Twitter. I didn't get any.
Yeah, I got no Twitter. Yeah.
I got no Grindr. I got no, what's the other one? Swipe right, swipe left.
There's Bumble.
Tinder. I didn't get any of those.
Yeah, so, Grindr's the gay one.
I know.
Tinder's this whatever.
The whatever.
All the above. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get any of those.
And then I think
but maybe it's because of the people that answer the question for me. They're
like
just
half of them are from like your strength people.
I didn't get any guys. It's all women that answer the question. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And your phone is recording, so you don't even know what you got.
Well, no, I got. So there's some are like the obvious ones, right? So some have everybody said that responded picked a different news outlet app they use. Wall Street Journal was like, I think I saw that like 4 or 5 times. And that one, I think that with news apps, especially now, like seeing like how biased so many different ones are and skewed. Like if you go to me and say like, I read this article in the Atlantic, and I'm like, Merp, stop. Like I'm gonna get dumber for listening to whatever you say next. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And but I think what's important is if you take certain ones and go, okay, I'm not going to use it as like my source.
I'm just going to have it.
I'm going to use it as a reference, right? Yeah. Like, oh, well, the Wall Street Journal wrote an article about this. Mm-hmm. Cool. Let me go investigate that, or let me go look up.
You should always investigate.
I know, but a lot of people don't do that.
I know.
What they do
Most
is
people
like,
don't.
They go, "This is where I get." So like, there's that
this
question.
Is where I get my information. And my
this
news.
Question happens in every election cycle. Like one of the main poll questions is like, "Where do you get your news?" Right? And then there's a vast majority of people that vote that will name like one of the top 4, mainstream or former mainstream now. It's actually pretty cool seeing that graphic where it's like average viewers for CNN and MSNBC, Fox, and even and it's all like sub like 1 million. CNN just tanked with that whole like Cuomo and Don Lemon fiasco, and then Rogan's like 12 million per episode.
And there's a lot of people that are like, oh, he's not a journalist, and he's not. But the thing is,
claimed to be.
They never claimed to be. And this is what I do appreciate about Rogan. If he makes a mistake, he admits he made the mistake on his radio show or on his podcast. So it's not like
he'll go live on Instagram. It's like not an hour later,
and it's not like CNN where they make a big mistake and then they bury it. Right by. They never ever acknowledge it, or they acknowledge it in print and nobody ever reads their print because it's bullshit. So I do appreciate that, and. You absolutely should be getting your news and information from multiple sources. You cannot rely on one source to be giving you any kind of objective information. There's too much skew. So you have to find multiple sources. I have 3 or 4 pages that I follow on Instagram, and then I have a couple print editions that I read, and I have found them to be the most. I found that to be more accurate than anything else. Of course, you never know what's accurate because it's all being presented to you. So, but most people said social media, obviously IG, Facebook,
right.
but I didn't get Twitter, so that was good.
Yeah,
I don't.
I think
not,
a lot of people jumped off it.
I do not use Twitter. I never have. I don't even have a handle for Twitter. I refuse.
I kept one for a while just to surf like the trending stuff and whatnot, and then you start realizing that they're skewing what's considered trending. Like, it would be like in the top 5 trending items. Then if you go click on it to go see like the mentions, like because you get the analytics and the mentions, and it's like 4,000 mentions. I'm like, that's not trending when you've got like 1 billion users,
right?
You know,
right.
no,
yeah.
And then something like what would be considered non-mainstream or non-woke would get 1.4 million mentions, and then it wouldn't even be in the top 10.
No, that happens all the time.
Interesting how that
works.
Yeah.
And that's why those
so you can't rely on
those platforms are garbage. And people are like, "Oh, it's just the algorithm." No, it's not just the algorithm.
No.
And
they create the
algorithms are written, so
for sure.
There's that. And I've gotten the argument that like they're not really listening to you. If you search on your phone and it pops up, like that's not them listening to your conversation. But we have tried this. We have not looked for something on our phone. We have mentioned something, and the next day, thing has popped up in our advertising feeds.
Yeah, especially if it's something that's never been said before.
So right. So don't act like oh, it's just what you're searching. It's your search history.
Nope.
It's not. And of course, when you search something, all of a sudden Instagram will show you every single version of the thing you search. But if you don't search it, you just say it, your phone hears you, and then it pops up. There you go. It's happened a bunch of times, but we weren't always paying attention to it. And I'd heard it was more recently something like, oh, it's just an algorithm. It's not actually this. And I was like, let me try this out.
One thing to do actually that helps a lot of that is 2 things. One is actually go in and clear out your search history in those apps. 2, go mess around with the privacy settings. 3, this is a big one because you don't realize it. Go to the home screen on Instagram and click on where it says followers and following. Click on following. And go look at how many pages you're following you didn't even realize you were.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Yeah, then go clean up, go curate your feed.
I did that.
That helps a lot.
I did that.
It's a lot of noise.
And actually, I did that during the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is living in my brain space way too much. So
I remember you do like 100 a day. Yeah.
Because I could only delete. I think I could only delete 70 a day.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I went from following 1,400 people to following I think 350 people.
Right.
And it significantly decreased the time that I spent on Instagram until they started Reels, and then that became a giant time suck. Which is just Reels are just TikToks put on Instagram, and and TikTok is meant to keep you focused on it and nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Lots of social media like Instagram and Facebook.
Fitness apps was like one of the big ones I got.
I didn't get that at all. I got iHealth to record blood pressure numbers, and this person that has this really neat like sphygmomanometer, which is like what you use to test blood pressure. It's that cuff that you see, and her sphygmomanometer is linked to the app.
What is that word?
Sphygmomanometer, yeah. Sphygmom.
This is my retard side. So.
Yeah, I know. Sphygmom.
Sphygmom.
Anom. Bitter.
Say that 3 times fast.
Sphygmomanometer. You married me.
I did.
Okay.
It's pretty damn good. It's very impressive. Saw what you turned on.
God. Okay. All right. And then I got a couple cool ones like Signal, and some of these I didn't even think of as apps. Like I don't think about Signal as being an app.
And it is. Yeah.
But it is, and I use it on a daily basis, and it's a blockchain essentially communication so that you can't hacked.
Well, what it is they don't the reason why it's so unique is they don't claim to be like, we protect your privacy, right? And then still everything is saved on a server.
Right.
Even if they came and said, hey, serial killer so-and-so, right? Or, whatever, whoever they name, and they, there was a subpoena from anybody, DOJ, FBI, whatever.
They'd be like, we have nothing.
Like, even if they gave them a subpoena, they're like, we have nothing to give you. We don't keep, so they don't have any servers where they save any messages on. If you have Signal on your app, on your phone, and you get a new phone, and you delete it, there's a way to transfer the information. But if you once you clear the phone, they're gone. That's it. Yeah. So we actually use it with the company I work with, the security company. We use Signal only for text threads for like live operations that we have going on.
Well, and the cool thing is it's a free app, but you can become a supporter or a sponsor of it.
Yeah, you can donate. Yeah, for sure.
Which is awesome.
MyFitnessPal was a big one I got too.
I didn't get any of that, but that's one of the ones that I use.
Yeah.
Maybe we should talk about the ones that we use first.
Okay.
On a daily basis.
Sure.
Definitely Instagram. That's the only one. It's the only social media I have on my phone. I don't have Facebook on purpose. I don't have any other social media outlet.
I have it because of the podcasts. Like everything's linked to it.
But my Instagram links to my Facebook, so it just automatically drops it in there. I don't have to go on there to do that.
I have to for like the story settings and for because I have 4 different socials for the different podcasts. That's why. So I have to be able to switch in and out.
I can do that from my Instagram.
What's that?
I can do that from my Instagram.
No, but there's sometimes I'll have to go in and so if I tag somebody in something, especially now that we're doing like sponsorship stuff and collaborations. So if I tag somebody on Instagram, right, and it'll automatically post to Facebook and their Facebook, what's going to use the Instagram tag. So then I have to go into the Facebook app. Well, I don't do it now. I have our virtual assistant do it. What they do is they have to go into the post on Facebook and then edit the tag.
Oh, got
it. To the Facebook username.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't even care.
Yeah, no. It's just something we do for this. So
I use Instagram on a daily basis. Pandora.
Yeah, Pandora for sure.
More often than not, Pandora.
Yeah.
I do have Spotify and I do have Amazon Music, but I don't use Spotify enough to have it as curated as my Pandora. I mean, I've had Pandora since 2005.
Yeah.
So it is very curated.
Yeah, same
like
here.
it's rare that I'll turn on a Pandora station and I won't like the music. So
I didn't download Spotify until Rogan went over to Spotify just so I can listen to his show.
But
I'm not a fan of their podcast platform. And then music's supposed to be pretty good, but
I like Spotify because you can share listening lists.
Get you that on Pandora too?
I don't think so. Like
I haven't tried.
Nick.
Yeah, we'll share songs.
Nick will send me like a playlist.
Oh, interesting.
I can do that with Amazon, but I can't. But the other person has to have Amazon.
Yeah.
But same thing with Spotify. But like with Spotify, you can share a playlist, which I love because Nick and I used to listen to awesome playlists when we trained together. So I like that. And then I use MyFitnessPal every day, and Maya, which is the like women's health tracking app, the menstrual health tracking app, which is really, really cool. And I've had it for.
I've actually recommended that to a lot of guys I know. For their wives.
Yeah. If you're okay, so
them.
Here's the thing is if you're in a relationship with a partner where you are engaged in physical intimacy, like you should, and you're a guy.
Yeah.
And you should know what's going on with your partner. If you're in a committed one, if you're in like a play and like hit it and quit it kind of thing, like that's different.
Yeah.
But if you're in a committed relationship or it's like the beginning of a committed relationship, that's a conversation you should have because guys don't have as many hormonal ups and downs. And we know this, and that's cool for you guys. Sweet. But women on a monthly basis, it's a 28-day cycle and your daily life is greatly impacted by it. Right. So I gave you my access to Maya, and it made a humongous difference.
Yeah.
And it has like
because I know where you are in your cycle.
Right.
I know.
I leave notes in there.
Yeah, and then but like also too like I've learned a lot in regards to what happens in different stages of your cycle.
Yeah.
So like you have a period where I think it's 5 days, 5 or 7 days, what's considered like a safe period where it's almost virtually, first of all, it's not, like nothing's impossible.
It's like 11 days.
Yeah. It is that long?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you have a safe period, right? So you have these periods where it's like, this is our fertile period. Yeah. They're blue days. There's green days, right? So green is like super fertile.
Like grass.
Yellow.
Grass.
Yeah, exactly.
And yellow is danger, real Robinson.
Yeah,
don't do
exactly.
It.
Yeah.
And so
and then you have like your blue days, which is like, those are the safe days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but what I learned was the safe days, right, are the days where you tend to be most like not in the mood because of where your hormone levels like dip, you know what I mean, when it goes on. So it's really interesting kind of like learning about that. Yeah.
Because of what I studied in college, I was pre-nursing. I was in nursing school and then midwifery school. And I did well women care and assisted midwives. And with midwifery care in California, the midwives that I assisted were certified nurse midwives. So they had a degree in nursing as well.
Yep.
And so they were allowed to do well women care, which is like the yearly pap smear, blood tests and all that stuff. And knowing like we have done a disservice to our women. I recognize that the advent of birth control was huge for women everywhere because it gave you more control over your life. However, what we have done by wholesale promoting birth control as like the way to prevent pregnancy is we have taught multiple generations now of women to ignore their body's signals.
Yeah, like the cycle.
Your normal cycle. Because it
crushes it too, doesn't it?
Exogenous hormones tend to be problematic for most people.
Yeah.
Because they're just not as good as your own.
Right.
And I'm not talking about the exceptions, people where they need it. Like they have
they take
extenuating circumstances because they have endometriosis or this, that, or the other thing, and it helps regulate them. I'm talking about the majority of the population. And what that does, it teaches you, and this was me too, like I went on birth control. I didn't even think about fertile stage, safe stage, like high progesterone, low estrogen, like where I was in my cycle. Yeah. I was like, okay, my cycle is this long. When I hit this pill, I take these sugar pills, or I just don't take them, and then my period will come, and then I'll start them the next time after this many days. Like,
I think
it doesn't teach you to pay attention.
Close to 20 years together, I think you were only on birth control for like a super
very short period of time.
I mean, when I say short, I'm like maybe a month or two. Maybe.
And people might be like, well, you have 5 kids. Yes. We have 5 children. We wanted 5 children.
Yeah.
I mean, we had twins, but we said when we got married, 3 to 5 kids. We have 5 kids.
Yeah.
But
we were also like done after the twins. We went 4 years without a kid because
none of that was
none
of that was birth control.
No,
that was natural. It's called natural family planning.
Yeah, natural planning. Yeah.
And the
we
thing
knew where
is,
you were in your cycle.
Right. Yeah. If you want to, do the horizontal polka during one of your yellow or green days, then you use protection.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
Or get a vasectomy.
Which
is a very hot topic at SBG, by the way.
Sometimes.
But
like that's and if you want to have kids, then that's not an option for you.
Yeah.
So you have to think about that later on.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Maya is great because it's it's almost like a teaching app.
Yeah.
Because it's
I learned a lot on it.
I think it's super important to share that with your partner.
Yeah.
Like it has made a massive difference in our communication, and I think it's great. So that's one of my everyday ones. MyFitnessPal, Instagram, Signal. I use. Let's see what else. I use
my podcasting apps are.
I
listen to so many podcasts. Yeah, both like iTunes, Spotify. I used to use the Google Podcast Player when I had an Android phone. But iTunes is far way better.
I use
now that we have Apple.
Podcast Addict, and I've been using it's like Pandora. I've been using Podcast Addict for my podcasts for a really long time. I do have Apple podcasts now, but I've been able to get everything on Podcast Addict. There hasn't been a podcast that I couldn't find on there, and I really liked
Rogan
it. Now, but this is I've had an iPhone for a little about a year now.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I had an Android up until that point, and so. Yeah, I like listening to podcasts. I listen to music. I listen to podcasts, and I track my macros and my body weight. I have an app called Healthy that I use with my nutrition coach. But it feels kind of redundant, so I'm not as good about putting my information in there because I already put it in my FitnessPal.
Oh yeah.
But I have to do a check-in every week anyway, so I just give them all the information. But
that's good.
Those would be my most used apps. So Signal, Instagram, MyFitnessPal, Maya.
I use obviously the social media ones for the vast majority is podcast stuff, and then I have an app. I use Cam Scanner. So Cam Scanner is I've used that one. Actually, I switched because it turned out that one they found had a lot of like backdoor vulnerabilities. So it's a great document. So there's a different one I use now on my iPhone. But like, so scanning apps are phenomenal because it works out great when you have to send like wholesale, like large documents, and you need to be able to get it in a better format where you're not just taking a picture of it. But it actually, and what'll happen is it'll crop it, it'll clean it up. You can change different settings on it too. Yeah, you can actually use it when you're sending legal documents. So it's a great app. So scanning app I like to use a lot. There's a couple of astronomy ones that one's called Star Walk, which is really cool. And like you can, there's a lot of different overlays you can adjust. So I'll use it with the kids sometimes, and you can find, using the GPS, it'll pinpoint where you are, so you see what constellation. So it's like you hold the phone, but it's like actually looking at like a VR setup of the sky, right?
We did that in Tacoma.
Yep, yeah, it's really cool. So I like that one.
So when we can see Venus. That was the time we could see Venus.
Yep. Yeah. So that's a good one. News-wise, there's basically what I like to do is just get information from different sources and then just try to look up as much as possible in regards. I use the Daily Wire. Yeah.
I get a lot of Daily Wire news and I read those.
So Substack. So I got into that more recently.
What's that one?
So Substack is, so it's not, I don't know if they actually have an app. I just go to the website. It's a independent, basically kind of like I guess you would say a lot more of like what you would call like the dark web intellectuals, or that got labeled the dark web, like Brett Weinstein and now Rob Wolf, he just spun one up. So it's their place to be able to have, and there's a lot of features on it too as well, but a lot of ways to have create your own little kind of blogging, and what you can do is you can subscribe to it, and then you have interactive features like you do on social media, but you can have better, longer format conversations via chat, text on it as well. So, and actually I will pull up is Substack to give you an actual better description of it. I just started getting into it. So it's like the home for great. So it's like a writing app. Journalists are using it more now. So you totally have like freedom of what you're doing. There's nobody censoring you. You don't have to worry about the censorship from like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And you can subscribe to that individual. Writers do it, bloggers. And then you can have different topics and conversations and publications too. People are starting to do like peer review publications on there as well. So, it's interesting. Rob told me about it, and then I started hearing more about it on various guests on Rogan and Jocko's podcast, and just now starting to kind of read up more too. So it's cool. You can get a lot more information out of it.
I'll check that out. I haven't seen that one. I was going to say too, actually, I was going to play this into some of the ones that I got, but like I can start reading off the ones that I got from people. But there is an app that I like to use a lot of. Has nothing to do with news or social media or health or any of those things. But there's an app called Ibotta, Ibotta.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been using it for a long time. I've used it like when I bought myself my super fancy camera body. I used it and I got like $100 back because it's an app that you scan your purchases, or you buy, like you either scan your receipts from certain stores, and there's certain things that are on sale. Sometimes they'll have, like, they call them like any items. So like any receipt, any milk, any this, that, or the other thing. And what they want to do is they want to create a database of what purchases are happening, so that they can, streamline their, like their algorithm will learn what offers to give you. But you can get, it's like 10 cents here, 50 cents there on every receipt. And then when you want to go, say, like, you'll get 2% back at Old Navy, or you'll get 5% back at QVC. And I bought my camera body from QVC, and it was a $1,200 camera body. And I got a big chunk of money back from that purchase that I don't have to pay for the app. It doesn't do anything to, like, it's not dangerous at all. And it's money back. And so you use them, you can turn them into Amazon cards or gift cards. I just turn them into Amazon cards, put it in my Amazon account, and use it because I do a lot of shopping on Amazon. But it's awesome. And then the other side of that is, one of the people that responded said they use Fetch, which is another receipt scanning app. every 1,000 points is $1, and you can convert them to gift cards as well. But with that one, it's not like, oh, you bought Almond Breeze almond milk, you get 50 cents back. It's you scan your receipt and they'll give you points. And how it's based on the value of the receipt. So I had a Costco receipt that was $150. I got 1,000 points for that Costco receipt. I scanned a $22 receipt at Walmart today, and it was 600 points. So it's like 60 cents essentially. But it's basically they're gathering shopping information so that they can target you. But still, I'm like, it's an exchange. And, people used to clip coupons. Like extreme couponers or whatever. And it's the same idea as you're just getting money back from your purchases. Right. And I don't have to carry around a bunch of weird little coupons in my
bags and
my bag that I try to carry as minimal as possible. So those are really helpful for everyday things. And Fetch, it doesn't have to be like any specific source. You could be for shoes, going to the grocery store, gas receipts. It can be anything. And I bought it specifically for shopping stuff. Right. So, but you got like all kinds of stores that you get percentage back, like Cabela's, Brooks Brothers, like all kinds of things like that. And then most grocery, Whole Foods, Sprouts, Safeway, Albertsons, like very common chains, Vons. And then you've got little local stores you can do that with too. So it's super nice because you end up just accumulating small bits over time. And once you hit $20, you can convert it into a gift card. Yeah. And I've done it. I don't know. I think my lifetime savings with Ibotta is, let me look it up. Let's see. Is $354.
You started using it when?
Lifetime earnings. I want to say, I think maybe it'll tell me. I started using it
a couple years ago or longer.
August 2015. But I barely used it at the beginning there. And then
that was like right.
There's like years where I don't use it,
but
then I use it like more often.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, I got $90 back from buying that camera.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That was $90 back on a camera that I would not have otherwise gotten.
Right, for sure.
And so it's it's not like, oh, this coupon is for my camera.
$90, like half the cost of like a nice lens.
I mean, an okay lens.
Yeah, moderate lens.
Yeah. So Fetch was the one that we got. I got You Need a Budget, which is actually a great app, YNAB, which is a great way to budget and save, and you connect it to your accounts, and your purchases like tally up, and you give yourself like a set budget every month, which is really awesome. Yeah. Overdrive and Audible. Now, Audible is Amazon's pay for books, but definitely. Overdrive, if you don't know this, I used this a ton when we lived in Washington. Overdrive,
connect to libraries, right? Yeah,
you can borrow audiobooks on Overdrive. You don't have to pay for them. You get them for 3 weeks. Right. You listen to them. And then, it returns it. Yeah. And you can get more. Of course, they have to be in. Like you're on a wait list. If there's a hold, there's still a limited number. Sure. But it's better than paying $15 every month for Audible and then having like a credit and then getting one book a month. You know what I mean? Yeah. There aren't commercials on Overdrive. It's not like, it's just through the library system, which is friggin' fantastic, especially when...
Well, it's great with the kids.
We homeschool our kids. Yeah. And there's a lot of read-alouds, and sometimes I don't have enough time in the day to do the read-alouds because there's 3 grades that I'm reading aloud for. So if I can download one of those books and play it for them...
Well, and it's cool, too, because, like, this is something where it's an audio story, but, like... it's been professionally produced. You got a production value to it. There's some music sometimes. There's, the actors are playing the characters is important in that. So
there's some really awesome BBC productions of certain books, like the Chronicles of Narnia.
I'll get into some stuff. I'll come in and listen, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And then I'll come in the next day, like, oh, I just started without me.
There's so many good stories. So Overdrive is awesome. Yeah.
I got into a couple that I learned through podcasting. So one is Later. So Later is a social media management tool. So
so it's like a posting app.
Yeah. But it's like super customizable. Yeah. It's obviously better on the desktop, but there is an app. So what's nice is now I have a virtual assistant service that helps with all like the post production of the podcasts for both of them, and they will basically just send me stuff. Oh, and then here's another one. So these two go hand in hand. Another one's called Basecamp. So Basecamp is awesome because it's a project management tool. So you can, and it's very customizable. I love it. I actually started using it outside of the podcast stuff. And then you can have like different projects going, and then you open the project up, and then you can have subsets and substacks of note cards, to-do lists. You can collaborate with different people, share documents, and it's a great project management tool. And I remember when we had first couple gyms back in California, when somebody say like, "Oh, this is a great project management tool," I was like, "Well, what do you need this for? Just write it down," And then, but I didn't know what it really like entailed. And now that I'm using it, it's like it's awesome, it's phenomenal, and especially when you're working with people all over the country or the world, right?
Yeah.
Just like you did your end, boom, you submit it and you drop it in there, and then they get a notification and like, hey, so and so turn this part in. So I like Basecamp a lot. I like Later. And then Canva. Canva's an awesome one. I got that Canva. One. Huh?
I don't hate it.
Canva's not great on your phone when you're trying to edit like finite stuff.
Yeah.
It's awesome on the desktop because you can really, or a large tablet.
It is nice to like make posts.
It's cool because you're basically, once you learn a little bit about it, you can really create some high-end like graphic arts design stuff, like graphics for podcasts, books, posts, like if you're doing anything in regards to like ClickFunnels marketing, landing pages for websites, there's all kinds of stuff you can create on there that you can create stuff on there and then just send it off to print too as well. So, and it's super easy to use, and they have like thousands of resources on there as well. What I like about it is we use the virtual assistant company to create a lot of like content for the social media for the podcast. They'll create it. So it's harder to go like, okay, here you go. Here's a blank piece of paper. Okay. And then I tell you, create for me so-and-so. And you're just like, okay, shit, where do I start? Whereas like with the virtual assistant company, it's, hey, I want you to create 3 quote cards. I want you to create 2 like audio clips or video clips of the podcast for social media, that kind of stuff too. And then they create it and send it to you, and then you just open it in Canva because that's what we use. And now I can just edit. It's like I might like everything, but like I want to change what the quote is. The words, or I want to enlarge this thing. So instead of wasting time and getting back to them and saying, "Hey, can you make this logo larger?" If it's something simple, I could just boom and then done. So awesome. So it saves. It's customizable. It's super easy to use on the phone too. So
I have used it a couple times. I'm not super familiar with it, but it is better than like, what is that? Collage Maker or like whatever those other cheap and clunky ones are. But
for videos, I've used this one for years before I used the virtual assistant company, is InShot.
Oh yeah.
So InShot's a great like video editor that you can use to create a lot of short videos, long videos, edits. You can place graphics on there, timing. It's super easy to move and cut videos, and so I mean, you saw like I would make a lot of like posts, like video clips of the podcast on using InShot. So that's a great one, and it connects to your social media as well.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
I got a couple that I think will be fun for some people. Media Monster. This is an app
I've heard of that one.
that allows you to record lifts while music plays, which if you do have an iPhone, I do know the hack for being able to record a lift while the music still plays. So if say like when I teach my class at the gym on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I connect the Bluetooth speaker to my phone and I play my Pandora.
Yeah, you have to hold the photo button.
No, you hold it until the lock comes up above it, and then you just slide it to the lock. It'll continue to play the music, and it'll record the video at the same time.
Oh, okay. I think you have to hold it the whole time. So
what you do is you go to your photo app, which is just the camera. You open it up, and you have it on photo instead of going to video, because as soon as you switch over to video, the music will stop.
Yep.
So you go to photo, and you hold the photo button down, and then there's a lock that appears above it. You slide it up to the lock, and it'll record. In the photo setting, music will still play. So it's awesome. But if you don't have an iPhone or you just want to have maybe a better app for it, the Media Monster app allows you to record lifts while.
Right.
This is as a lifter who has a remote coach, like it's really helpful to be able to record your lifts and not lose the music for it. So
yeah.
And then AccuWeather is a really good weather app. that I have on here. And then a couple, so Beyond the Whiteboard, which if you're an ex-CrossFitter or familiar with CrossFit at all, Beyond the Whiteboard is an app that gives you WODs to do on a daily basis. Or like your gym will post the workout on there, so you know, like, oh, my CrossFit gym has this workout. You'll look at it, you'll check it out, and then you can post your scores there, and it like pops up. So a
lot of the clients that I have in person will use rep count.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like rep count or rep count, so it's like a nice simplified, like Kit was using that for a long time before he put on True Coach. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, and then there's a really nice one for HIIT training. So HIIT being HIIT, I think
it's called
high intensity,
HIIT, isn't it?
High intensity
there's
interval
different
training.
ones,
It's
like
called HIIT
timers.
interval.
Yeah.
So you can set your rest time.
Customize it.
You can set your rounds. You can set
training,
your. It's really, really nice because then I used to do it when I would do sled pushes at the gym in Gig Harbor.
Yeah.
It would just yell at me go. I would go, and then it would tell me to stop, and then I would stop, and so I wouldn't have to like.
Then it would do a countdown. Like,
it was really nice. And then Duolingo, which is a really fun app for helping you learn languages. And of course, just like any
never heard of that one.
language thing, you have to practice. But this is from a friend of mine who travels all over the world as a teacher. And they're in Morocco now. They were in Taiwan before that. But that's, it's just like got to be able to communicate.
What's the one with the one with that has like the laser pointer where like you put the round in your gun and you can aim it, and there's an app there so you can target practice.
G-Shot.
G-Shot? Is that what it is? Yeah. I haven't used it yet. Have you used it?
I've used it.
Because I know you got it, so you got the actual
it's like the
cartridge,
dummy round. It's like the dummy round.
Yeah, but it's got a laser.
Or the sighting laser that we used today at Denver's.
Yeah.
But it's to help you dry fire and help make sure that your gun stays steady.
Yeah, it's almost like dry fire target practice because you have an app that's actually recording your shots.
Right.
Yeah.
That one.
How accurate is that? Is that one pretty good? Have you tried it?
It's pretty good.
I'll have to use that. Yeah.
And then let's see. Do I have any other ones that I don't know here? A couple games. One's called State of Survival, which is a zombie apocalypse game, which feels very appropriate. And then
appropriate for the person who said it to you,
or just life. Oh, and then YouVersion, which has Bible verses. And then Notion, which is a better app than Evernote. So it's a good way to take notes and things like that. So just kind of, and that's all I got in response to people, but those were helpful because I downloaded a couple apps I didn't use before previously.
One, of course, like the ones that we also use or we have clients, True Coach is a big one,
Oh, yeah.
And for you, it's the Barbell Logic app. Because
I have the Barbell Logic app.
Now, do the clients get that too, or do they have to go online for that?
They get that too.
Yeah, like they have an app, like a client app they can download. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's actually not downloadable in the App Store. It's like a website.
Yeah, you have to download it from the website. Yeah. Interesting.
So I have the True Coach app. I also have Marco Polo, and I use Marco Polo every day.
That's a good one too.
So
yeah.
The difference between so everyone's like, oh, why don't you use FaceTime? FaceTime, you have to have
a live call.
A live call. Marco Polo is video texting essentially. And it's got like a.
I'm so surprised how many people don't know about it.
It's well because it's not on Apple.
I actually shared
everyone's
it.
Like super snobby about Apple.
It's not on Apple?
It is on Apple, but like people are like, oh, I have FaceTime. I don't need to use Marco Polo. But Marco Polo is video texting. I love that voice, you too. And it's fun because the app has a little like beach ball, pool ball. It's because the game Marco Polo, and you record your video to them.
Yeah, you have video texts,
and then they can watch it at their leisure. You can also speed it up, skip.
If somebody wants to tell.
If like somebody wants to talk really slowly, tell a long story, you can speed it up to 3 times speed, which is I don't recommend.
Yeah.
But like 1.5 times is helpful.
Yeah.
And then they respond back, and you have it's great because I used to do that with my dad before he passed.
Yeah.
I do it with my mom. The kids can see it. The kids can send videos to people so they can see them. I mean, of course, we can send video texts in our text messages, but they're short.
Well, then you have to go back and find them.
And the quality is compressed, right? So in Marco Polo, it's not like your quality is the quality of your camera. It's really good quality. It doesn't get choppy or slow down. Every once in a while, if you're in a bad
it's all lined
area,
up too. Yeah. Like it's like on a text thread. Like if you send a video, there's actually a way now. Like if you guys don't know, like in your text messages, you just have to go into the options in the menu and then click media. Then all your media will pop up. But again, just for simplification, Marco Polo is great for long format.
And it's a good way because a lot of times
we used it a lot when I was in Washington.
Yeah, we talk about like lost in translation. There's a lot of body language and inflection that is lost in text message, or even phone calls. And so Marco Polo, was a really nice way for me to see people and have long conversations with my sisters.
We've actually talked out some fairly serious stuff, you and I, through Marco Polo, like when we weren't in the same place. Yeah, whether it was when I was gone in Washington for a little bit, or when you were on a business trip, or... I
have to say, I think it'd be awesome for people that are like deployed, that are like missing their families.
For sure. Because you can carry on a conversation at, like you said, at your convenience, especially in different time zones.
Yeah.
And you can sit down and listen to it when you want. It's just not like, hey, when's a good time to call you?
Yeah.
You know? Now. And
if you're like in a relationship and you want to see your person.
What are you trying to say?
You can do that on Marco Polo. It's a great app.
It is. It's a really good one.
I like it. That's one I use regularly with my sister and my brother-in-law. It's allowed me to get to know my brother-in-law in ways that I otherwise wouldn't have because we live in 2 different states. Randall and I Marco Polo all the time.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about my brother. I was like, I don't think
We've Marco Poloed a few times, but I tend not to.
He didn't even know about it until like a few months ago.
No, he's had a Marco Polo for a long time. For quite a while.
What do I know?
Yeah. I think when he came to stay with us in the beginning of 2020 is when he found out about it. So it's been almost 2 years. I feel like
that was more recent. Yeah, you're right.
It's almost 2 years now.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
okay.
But yeah, that's a great app as well.
Cool. Anything else?
I think that's it. That's all I got from people.
Yeah, I couldn't think of any more like super unique ones. I'm sure there's more. And actually, I'm sure I'll get a lot of messages after we post this episode.
Be like, hey, this app is rad.
Yeah. So, next episode.
The next episode, okay,
this will be the fun one.
We talked about Spicer. I'm going to read the description of Spicer and see if I can like make people have a better idea of what it is. So
you join it and then you connect with a partner so that they have an app, and then you get questions.
Yeah.
And they're like cards like on the screen, and then you basically just say yes, no, maybe. And then what happens is your partner has the same questions, and they can go as fast as they want, as slow as they want, throughout the day, week, whatever it is. And then you will get notifications when you have matches. So maybe there's something.
And you also have yeses and maybes because they've got a red.
I said yes, no, or maybe.
Yeah, there's like a red thumbs down.
Yep.
The blue maybe is like a thumbs up and a thumbs down, blue thumbs together, and then a green thumbs up.
Yeah, because and it's funny because sometimes, no matter how much you trust each other or how much you think you're not being judged, sometimes you feel like if you even are open to having the conversation about something with your, your intimate relationship that you guys have, that if you bring it up, you're going to feel judged or
maybe it's hard for you to talk about.
Partner's going to be upset about it, or you think they are. So this is the one where you go like, yes, no, maybe meaning like, no, open
and
to talk
you
about
only see the yeses and the maybes.
Yeah. So
you don't see what the no's are. I mean, you know what your no's are.
There's a way to do it, but it involves like a little bit of like deep diving to go see the no's.
Well, and the cool thing is, okay, so when you say yes to these things, like yes, I will, or yes, I have.
Yes.
Then there's the top of the screen says yes, maybe, done, mood, and wish list. So you can actually let your partner know if you're in the mood like that day.
Yep.
Which I think is probably more helpful for guys than ladies. Because
guys are always in the mood.
What'd
you say? Why are your pants off?
Oh, God. And then you have your wish list of like, these are the things that I would like to do.
Yeah. There's a dare setting.
There's a dare setting, which is really fun because you can get points. And it's like...
I'm still trying to figure out what you get with the points.
I don't know. You get like a crown because you're a winner. I don't know. Like you get a little crown on your name. So like in ours, I have a little crown on my name because I have 80 points. You have 35. Yeah, but it's because I haven't finished the other dare. But like you have score, sent, and received. I'm not telling that out loud on the air. We're married. Come on now. But
there
like
are children listening.
You get yes, maybe, done, mood, and wish list. So the wish list is things you'd like to do.
It's a fun app.
Your mood is like yes or no.
Yeah.
Done are the things that you have done that if you yes or maybe. So you can even take the yeses that like I would like to do this, and you can turn them into dares for your partner.
There's different like card packs, so like expansion packs.
Yeah. So
and then
I'll name some of them. We got
some are from people will submit them, like users will submit them.
Yeah.
Some are from the app service itself, and
so this is the basics app. It's like this. This is what it's called. Level 1, 75 questions, includes vanilla, toys, butt play, group, and public fun.
Sometimes we'll take a screenshot of something to send to each other.
Be like, nope.
Who thought of this?
No. And then you've got they have a ton of packs in here, and we paid for the membership for a year because we're like, this is kind of fun.
Yeah, it was cool. It was worth it.
And it's a great way to keep things, I don't know, interesting.
Yeah.
We've been married. We've been married for 15 years in May. We've been together for 18.
Yeah.
18 and a half.
And what's cool too is sometimes if you do get a couple weeks where it's everybody's sick, you're busy, somebody's traveling, whatever it is too. It's a cool way to kind of reconnect on that level a little bit by just as you as the individual can be. You could basically just go in the phone, go answer 7 questions.
Yeah.
Just answer them, right? Mm-hmm. Say yes, no, maybe. Or send somebody a message, send your partner a message. And what that does is it gets them to engage back on that level again to where you don't tend to float away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If there's a long period of time that goes by. So I like it. It's been fun.
Yeah.
I like sometimes just sharing the absurdity of some of the stuff and just laughing with you about it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's more fun even to just be like, WT fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But it's okay. So that's the app that we're going to talk about, but
it's not going to talk about it. We're going to
read them off, and then you all are going to engage with us on Facebook and be like, yes, no, maybe.
Yeah. So we'll do a Facebook Live.
Yeah.
And I want to try to figure out a way how to do it on both Facebook Live and IG Live.
We'll have to use 2 cameras.
Well,
I'll have to do my phone.
So the Facebook Live I could do through here.
Oh, and then you have to have the phone.
The IG Live, you have to use your phone.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is if I'm using mine to record and yours to go live, then we don't have an app to go off with the questions. So we need a phone available to get to the questions.
Yeah.
I have my old phone. I might download and just log in and use that one too. So we'll figure it out.
So this is something else too. And we've been married a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, we got 5 kids, busy lives. And we've been through lawnmowers of days, right?
What does that mean?
I say food processor. I don't know. What is the word I'm looking for? Shitstorm? Yeah.
Kittens in a blender.
Kittens in a blender. Okay. So sometimes reconnecting where your intimate relationship is functioning and not just stagnant or non-existent because you're just oh, fuck this. So we started kind of branching out, or at least having a more open conversation about it. I want to say a little over a year ago.
Just about stuff in general.
And I found,
relationship. Yeah.
I started doing a little research because I was like, something's got to give. This needs to change, right?
Right.
I recognize that I'm just
checked out,
right?
Yeah.
So I found on Instagram somebody, I don't even know how I found her, but she's called That Sex Chick, and she's a life and love coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's funny, and she's newly married, and some of the things, but she's really, really open, and she's very she's a pretty cool chick. But she's a podcast. But
I want to give her credit. Hold on.
Her name is Alexa Bowditch.
Oh, okay, you do know her.
Yeah. And That Sex Chick on Instagram. She's awesome. Check her out. And her husband also has he's a really funny guy. But anyway, she has these tools to help reconnect partners, right? And one of them is called the will, want, won't list.
Right.
Okay. Now, I actually. Okay, if you're going to be in a relationship where you're going to be in an intimate relationship with a partner, I think it's important to do this because some of these things Alex and I never would have had a conversation about because of our upbringing or how comfortable we are, or feeling like we're going to be judged if we said, hey, this sounds interesting or whatever. So this list is not exhaustive, but it is pretty in depth, and it's
that's a detailed one. The one we did.
It's 3 pages.
Didn't we go through when we were driving to California?
No, we went through it. We were going on a date.
Oh, that's right. I dinner that one night.
Right.
Yeah.
So you answer for yourself, and then you ask your partner, or your partner answers for themselves, and then you trade lists and compare, and it lists a bunch of different things, yes. It's kind of like the Spicer, yes, no, maybe. And so if you don't want to get an app, or like Shay recommends it when you're in a new relationship that you fill it out. So like your person knows what you're open to.
Yeah.
But what I have to say about that is sometimes you don't know what you're open to because of who your partner is. So I think it's a good idea to do for yourself. And then as you get to know your partner, like, and as your relationship evolves and changes, as they all do,
right,
it might be fun to like revisit it or just go over it together. But it was really interesting. And it allowed us to have conversations about things I don't think we would have had conversations about because we felt we were being judged, or like past like, oh, when you were 25, you reacted this way when I said this thing. Well, 15 years later, I might react a little differently.
That's true.
So
yeah.
So it's cool. And I am definitely one of those people that's like, you should be talking about intimate things with your partner.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And not just being like, we don't talk about that. We just, we just do or whatever, or don't do. I think it's important to remove the taboo of having those conversations so that at least you can feel safe with somebody to talk about those things with.
Yeah.
And it can remove like roadblocks to your communication and your like feelings of closeness. You know what I mean? So I thought that was really fun and interesting. It definitely was. It brought up conversations. It brought up some uncomfortable conversations, but only because we realized we had judgments around those things that maybe we didn't realize that we had. So then we were like, I didn't realize I felt this way about this.
Yeah, there's conversations we've had.
Which I think is good, because if you don't realize you feel a certain way about something,
right,
and then you're like, why do I feel that way? And then you realize that you don't need to feel that way, or there's something else that has occurred that has caused that kind of reaction in you. It's a good way to like talk it through and figure it out.
Yep.
So.
No, it's definitely been a really useful tool with what you said in regards to like, oh, I didn't even know you would even want to have that conversation, or it's something you were thinking about. Here's the funny thing too, like, I think this is a good way to finish this, is somebody thinking about something or open to having a conversation about something doesn't necessarily mean they want to do it. You know what I mean? It's just, I think that's where I was going with that. It's just, I'm trying to find a better way of saying like it makes it easier to have a safe conversation, because every time I hear like safe space, it just bugs the shit out of me. So. But in reality, it's kind of really what it is.
Well, okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, you need to be able to have safe conversations.
That term may be overused,
but it's true.
But you should be able to have a conversation with your person and be vulnerable.
Right.
That should be occurring.
Yep.
And if it's not occurring, maybe check in and see why it's not occurring. And if you don't feel safe, then maybe that's something you need to talk about too.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's yeah. I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
And leave it at that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. All right. So we will we need to pick a day to do the live. I think what do you think? Weekend, weekday? Weekday evening?
I think a weekend will have more. I don't know. What days is everybody on their Facebook or whatever and like willing to sit down and engage?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's going to be in the evening.
For sure it's going to be in the evening. Are you going to could you look up at like a engagement algorithm?
Yeah. Well, I can send out a message to people. Actually, you know what we could do is we could put a poll out on Instagram in our stories and just give like 3 times, days and times, and see what people prefer. And then just announce it, and then people can jump in if they want or not. You know what I mean? Don't forget too, like the episode will get posted after. This is just something if you want to engage live with the recording on Facebook, and Instagram, then this will be the way to do it.
It'd be really fun for couples to do it like together and like respond together.
Yep, for sure.
It'd be nice if we didn't have our same 4 people engage.
Yeah.
If we could get more people besides just 4. I mean, I love.
Oh, you mean on Facebook?
Yeah.
Well, that's because we usually just do it last minute. I don't really announce it. So.
Right. Okay, and also everybody who answered our questions is entered into the 5 sparrow drawing that ended today. So what we'll do is we'll use a randomization app and we'll pull a name, and that person will either get to pick 4 flavors or one giant 2.5 pound bag. So 4 10-ounce bags, which are the smaller bags. It's still quite a lot of product.
And do we just let Mel know?
Mel ships it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then, or you can pick the 2.5 pound bag of the one flavor. And if you're new to it, you might want to go with the 4 flavors. And if you're really familiar with it, you might want to go with like a just big giant bag. But everybody who answered a question for us is entered. And then if you commented on the post that I made, you're also entered there as well. So if you did both, then you have double entry.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So until next time.
Facebook Live.
Spice
or the app.
Yep.
It's going to be a spicy, semi-uncomfortable conversation, but it'll be fun. Not for me.
You get a little comfortable sometimes. You know what? I think it tends to be if I throw it randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you weren't expecting it. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, but I'm fully prepared for this.
For sure, 100%.
So, 100%.
All right, till next time. I'm the Hooligan.
And I'm the Harridan.
All right.
Bye.